Did we start with the 9th shloka or did you finish it? Last. We started it. Okay. So the 9th shloka, one of my favorite shlokas of this Bhajagovindam. Please try repeating after me. Many of you would have known it if you have been following, like when I was growing up, M.S. Subbalakshmiji's Bhajagovindam and Vishnu Sahasranamam was like a morning ritual. Whether somebody heard it or not, that tape would go on all. So though I cannot sing it in that same, I would not even attempt at it. In my little tune, please follow me. Satsangatve nissangatvam nissangatve nirmohatvam nirmohatve nischalatatvam nischalatatve jivan muktihi. One shloka to pack all aspects of our Vaidika Sanatana Dharma, also known as Hinduism, in one place. Somebody who has studied the entire Vedic literature, all the Itihasa, Purana, and then come up with this simple looking shloka. But this one simple looking shloka can cover so many different aspects, and it covers it very profoundly. How many of us have had an opportunity to read through 700 shlokas of Bhagavad Gita? All 700 with the meaning and the commentary if possible. कोई नहीं? अरे बाप रे. Okay. Ramayana. Ramayana is the smaller version, the smaller one in comparison to Mahabharata. Ramayana has 24,000 shlokas. Mahabharata has 100,000 shlokas only. How many of you had an opportunity to read through or study or at least repeat once? I would not ask about all the 4 Vedas. Each one of us belong to a particular Veda Shakha. Yajurveda has 2 parts, Krishna Yajurveda and Shukla Yajurveda. In Krishna Yajurveda, it's a vast ocean kind of a thing. In that, there will be one Shakha. In that one Shakha, our family tradition would have been following it. So my question is, anyone who has ever studied that particular Shakha? We didn't even know that we belong to a Shakha, Swamiji. What are you talking about? When we offer our salutations to somebody elderly, wise, that where we respect. So when we do our namaskara, we give our introduction to them. I, such me, is bowing down and offering this namaskara to you, the salutations to you. That is called pravara. Pravara, announcement of my lineage. After sannyasa, I have given up all of that lineage. So, my lineage would be the Guru Parampara. But in the Grihastha Ashrama, a brahmachari should know and in there we talk about our Rishi Parampara as well as the Veda Shakha. If you are interested in trying to find where do I find what Shakha I belong to, that is where you will find. If you ask your elders, they should be able to tell you that. When you do Nitya Puja, in that Nitya Puja also you announce who you are and what you are doing this puja for. In there also you talk about your Shakha and Sampradaya. Now for such situation wherein we have not studied Vedic literature, but not even that Shakha where we belong to. Ramayana, Mahabharata, at least Bhagavad Gita, we have not, I wouldn't say touched it, we have not completed it, the whole of it. And then somebody would immediately say, is there an abridged Bhagavad Gita? There is no abridged Bhagavad Gita. Maybe the best that you can do is read just shloka and translation to start with at least. There are 700 shlokas. If you want to see that, it may be cumbersome. I'm going all tangent right now because that is not what the shloka means. But since I have touched that topic, let me go ahead and finish that also. If you take 2 shlokas and translate it per day, you have 700 shlokas, 365 days. In 1 year, you will be able to finish it. Is that achievable? Doable? अरे हाँ तो बोलो. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि करो. Is it achievable? Is it possible? Those shlokas with the translation. Say that? उससे भी कम. Less than 5 minutes. If we can spend and at least once in life go through that. Then when somebody asks, have you studied Bhagavad Gita sometime anywhere? You can proudly raise your hand. हाँ किया मैंने. जबरदस्ती था पर किया जरूर. So since we have reached to this intersection wherein that which is the basic tenets of our Vedic Sanatana Dharma, for whatever reasons, the way our children are getting here a structured exposure into it, we have never gotten it. There can be various reasons. We have reached to this point wherein the basic tenets we have only observed, heard, and we were forced to do, and now we proudly repeat that. Whatever was forced onto us, which we resisted, we don't resist, or we didn't resist as much as our children resist us. हम इतने ढीठ तो नहीं थे. We were not like this. Whatever we learnt, we try to insist and pass it along. So as much as it is important that the children get their structured approach. One thing that I would request is that need not be spoon-fed to you. Just pick up that Bhagavad Gita, read the shloka, read the translation. What is today? Aaj Holi kab hai? Kab hai Holi? Do you know what I'm referring to? So we just crossed the Holi Purnima. Today is March 20th, 19th. By March 18th next year, can we complete? Try to karenge. There is a famous dialogue that I remember right now. कोशिश जरूर कीजिएगा क्योंकि वादे अक्सर टूट जाते हैं, कोशिशें कामयाब हो जाती हैं. Don't ask me which movie it is from. Go figure. Try to finish it up. And if you don't have a Bhagavad Gita copy, we have enough. So he's our book stall in charge. A little sidetrack is book promotion also. So when we have reached this intersection where we have not studied, we have not gotten a structured environment, and it says Hinduism becomes very cumbersome. If somebody can give us the crux of what should be practiced, what is the purpose of this? Why Hinduism? What is the purpose of this Hinduism? What is the purpose of my life as such? All of these questions, in a very simple order of structure, Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya ji lays it out in 4 simple sentences, 4 quarters. And every word is repeated twice. So he is just saying about 4 words, 4 steps of spiritual unfoldment, purpose of our Vaidika Sanatana Dharma. Satsangatve Nissangatvam. Nissangatve, see, Nissanga, repeated. Nissangatve Nirmohatvam. Nirmohatve Nischalatatvam. Nischalatatve Jivan Muktihi. Satsanga, Nissanga, Nirmoha, Nischala and Jivan Mukti. 4 steps to reach to the highest. How simple can it be? How much more simple can it be? The entire crux of Vedic literature, Purana, Itihasa, Prakarana Granthas, all of that in a most simplistic order presented in 4 steps. What is it that we are searching for? Nischala Tatve Jivan Muktihi. Mukti, moksha. Moksha from what? Wherever we feel constrained in, we want to get rid of that constraint as soon as possible, as quickly as possible. I was in New York and that was the first time I was seeing it. Almost every building is a tall raised building. So there are offices and above that there are residences also. I was given a space to live there and conduct satsang when I was there. So I got into the elevator and every elevator has a guy sitting there or he manages it. So by then he already knew me and he started saying namaste to me. A tall black fellow saying namaste. I found it very amusing. So he welcomes and there is this girl or a lady, she enters from the office space into the same elevator wearing a very, very narrow, tall or big heels, stilettos ऐसा कोई बोलते हैं ना, हाँ, बहुत very sharp end. So she got in. As soon as we came out of that elevator, first thing even she before stepped out, there's in the entrance there is some sofa. So she sat there, pulled it out, packed it in, put it in her purse, took out flats and then put it down. And there was this, there's this relief on her face. And she put it on and started walking. That was the first time I saw that, अरे ऐसा करते हैं. That is called moksha. Mukti from that which is a constraint. है कि नहीं? There are many people who would bring their children to Balavihar, but even now, right now, sitting in the car. Moksha from Satsanga. Wherever we feel constraint, wherever we feel. Now, when you are scolding your child, for whatever reasons, you are giving your peace of mind, and that fellow gets angry, what is the usual reaction? Middle school and up. They stomp, go to their room, and then you hear a bang, hard. And in shutting it off, what are they saying? Moksha from that environment. Moksha. Moksha means released, liberated. There are people that stay in hospital for say 10 days, 15 days, whatever the ailment it is. And when they get out of the hospital after their whatever surgery or recouping has been done, what is the word that is used when they get out of the hospital? Discharged. Same 10-15 days, if somebody is in the prison, what do you call that when they get out? Here it is discharged, there it is released. Because prison is an environment wherein you are curtailed from all different directions. So our rishis have found that we cocoon ourselves in various layers of constraint and then feel that we are very restricted, blocked, we are not able to enjoy. And the best thing that we do is to find someone that I can blame for the miseries that I am going through. It feels good. It's a feel-good factor. But you can't keep blaming everyone for everything. And you want to find the actual solution. They said the main thing is, it's not the outside, it is the inside that we have restricted ourselves. We are binding ourselves. We are blocking ourselves from being what? Stopping. Very strange. There is nobody sitting here who does not want to be happy. Is there anybody here who does not want to be happy? I promise the rest of us will provide enough of it. Haji? Given right away. There is nobody that doesn't want happiness. But that happiness that which we want, which we are seeking, is limited. We are seeking for something which is unlimited. So the premise that has been, this whole logic has been built, that joy or happiness, ananda, is verily our true nature, and we are wrongly identifying with various aspects of our personality, and that binds us. That when we unbind and release ourselves from that internal prison that we have created for ourselves, that is called moksha or mukti. Having thus released, what we experience is our true nature, which is ananda. Ananda meaning a blissful state, a very contagious blissful state, because if one person is in joyous state, you can't sit in one corner, dark corner, and say, don't disturb me, why? I am happy. Now when you are happy, you want to celebrate it, you want to share it. That's why I call it as contagious. You can't sit in one corner, you want to go out there and give this joy to everyone. Don't we? So it becomes a very thriving environment, that individual who is basking in that joy, that happiness, that ananda, wants to share that ananda. Most of us, when we talk about sharing, it has various threads or tags to it. I will share it if it's somebody that I care. I have put effort, I have earned this, so I will share it only to those that which. Most of us function in that kind of a realm. So my immediate family, friends, children, that is what I will share with. And there are some who say, share kabhi share nahi karta. I have the lion's share, I have put effort for it, I will not share it with anybody. We find that kind also. But having attained that which is unlimited, you suddenly feel there is nothing, nobody can snatch this, rob this, abuse this, misuse this. I have in plenty. I don't have an agenda that I give you this much of joy, you give this much in return. Usually that is what we barter, especially when it is a close circle. But here, there is no such binding. It is for everyone that can care for such. So it becomes a non-hidden agenda environment of sharing this joy with everyone. Now, how can such be achieved, attained? So the sequence is given. I am going in the reverse order. If that joy, if that bliss, if that ananda has to be shared, I should have it first. I cannot share it without owning it. If it is in somebody else's purse and I take it and give it away, take it and use it away, it will be called choryam. Choryam means thieving it, robbing it. I am entitled to give that which is mine, that which I have. So where can I get it? When can I get it? So a very subtle, beautiful point that is made is nischala tattvam. In order to have that joy and enjoy it, we need to be at peace with ourselves. Nischala, nistaranga. Nischala meaning chala, movement. Nischala, that where there is no movement because I have chosen to be in that non-moving environment. You didn't see that the door was swinging in and you walked in and tap, it hits. You reach a nischala state. You are knocked out, KO'd. That knocked out situation is not called nischala. Why? You are not conscious. You are conscious and choose to be in that nischala. That is called being in peace. If the mind is agitated, meaning it is not at peace, even if there is something in front of you as a material thing for you to enjoy, you will not be in a position to enjoy it. A simple example, your favorite ice cream, you are sitting with your family, TGIF, thank Gurudev it is Friday, you are having a great time with your family. You opened up your favorite flavor. Each one actually got their own favorite flavor. You have put it in your bowl and you are about to take it. You got a text message, Mr. Sarveshananda, you are fired. Now, you substitute your own name in there. You are fired. Haji? What's the problem? समझा नहीं. Oh, I'll have to find out if I'm fired as to what the problem is. If it's your name and you see that, and what happens to your favorite bowl of ice cream? It's in there, right in front of you, in your hand. ठीक है, पहले मैं इसको enjoy करता हूँ, बाद में मैं उसको देखूंगा. No, the bowl goes next. What the heck? I spoke to my manager right yesterday. Even today we were in the meeting. Never get. What happened? This is called the meta world that we live in. Meta recently laid off. Suddenly, you are fired. Your mind is agitated. You are not expecting it. What happened to that bowl of ice cream? You don't find yourself, it doesn't attract you anymore. It doesn't sound palatable. And within 4 minutes, there is another text. It is not you, Sarvesh, but there is another Sarvesh in Frisco. He is fired. By mistake, it came to you. As soon as I see that, I am so happy, I am relieved. And the same bowl of ice cream looks now, dang, it is palatable. If the mind is agitated, even if it is a material thing, however great, however beautiful, however likingness that you have had for it, because the mind is at peace, the agitation is gone. See, that day when you wake up by mistake with a happy mindset. होता है कभी कभी mistake ये. You wake up and you feel very relaxed. You wake up and there was a small drizzle and you go outside your own backyard. You've seen that day in and day out. But that day, wow, क्या beautiful है. Your own backyard, it appears very beautiful. That day when office was, a chaos, you come back, children have kept home as chaos. And your spouse is busy in their own work from home. And you go out into the backyard with a cup of tea It looks all, kya hai? Kya? When mind is agitated, everything looks agitated. Nothing looks beautiful, appeasing. Therefore, even in Yoga Kriya or Ashtanga Yoga or Kriya Yoga, Bhakti or Jnana, wherever you talk, the first thing that they talk about is how does one reach to that a sanctuary of peace within, unshakable sanctuary of peace within, having reached where, having assembled where, outside may be chaos, but inside there is an undisturbed peace. How does one achieve that? Because in that peace alone, in that stability alone, every other thing can be made functionally feasible, joyously endearing. Otherwise, we will have only fake smiles on our face. It doesn't have the joy in it. Eyes show pain, but the lips show smile. There's a disparity there. Your own spouse, your own children, your own parents, your own, even very dear friends, when you say, how are you? Theek. And the eyes are not reflecting the same emotion as the lips are trying to show. What do? What's wrong? Why? Because there is the dichotomy right there. Eyes are showing pain, the lips are trying to express, smile, and there is no matching. We may try to put a fake smile, but the internal agitation, if it is not there, however we may pull along, life becomes a drag. So one needs to find that peace within, Nischala Tattva. Many of us try to reach to that Nischala Tattvam or that, temporary peace at least, through various methods. So there was a 7th grader back in India when this was one of my first camps. He had a brilliant mind. He could put anything in poetry in at least few words, the least few words. So I asked him, they had to pick a word and speak for 30 seconds or 1 minute. So his topic was sleep, neend. So he paused, looked at it, and I said, वो जो आपको मिले पिल्लो या पी लो. Seventh grader had a good insight into it. Pill, you take those sleeping pills, or a good pillow, दोनों काम नहीं आया तो पी लो. समझ में आया ना पीलो का मतलब क्या पीना है? We take alternatives to reach to that spot wherein there can be some seeming sense of peace within. But as soon as we get out of it, life is staring at us, we have to get back at it. And most of us have Monday blues for that very reason. And when do we start having Monday blues? The Sunday afternoon itself. Oh my God, I have to go back to work. I want to go to work. Because we try to escape into that temporary format of having some sense of peace, but outside it gets shattered as soon as we step into it. There are some blessed fellows. There are only few people that I have seen, but they are there. When there is a serious problem, first thing they say, I can't handle it, I am going and sleeping. And they do snore away immediately. That's why I call them blessed fellows. I am of the kind wherein until I find a solution, I can't sleep a wink. And here is this fellow, मुझसे handle नहीं होता, मैं जाके सो जाता हूँ. Have you come across such people? I will not say who or where, but they started looking at each other and started smiling. ये तेरे बारे में बोल रहे हैं? How does one reach to that peace consciously, deliberately, so that it is not by luck or by accident that I find that peaceful moment, but I can orchestrate reaching there at my free will? That is called sadhana. Oh, I go pray and light a lamp and rest of it is now Bhagwan's ichha. No, your sadhana is where you have to put effort. How does one achieve it? So they say the root cause for this disturbance is called moha. Nirmohatve nischalatatva. Why is there no peace? Because we live perennially from one delusion to the other, we keep dragging ourselves. In your vocabulary, when you say deluded, delusional, what do you mean by it? How do you define delusion? I am asking. Swami ji, ये बड़े बड़े चीजों को कोई ऐसे we don't have a dictionary that we walk around with. You put us on the spot. हाँ जी. You are giving an example. If only this could have happened, I am at peace and I'll be happy. That is an example, not a definition. हाँ जी. Virtual reality. आपने पूरे segment of business को आपने deluded बता दिया. We are. In Sanskritam, it is very beautifully defined. Yama sa. That which appears to be and yet is not. It's one statement. The second statement is that which is but appears not. That which makes us to take an assumption of something which is not as existential, and that which is existing as non-existing. So, to put this example across, I think it was the 8th grade, I gave them a tricky example, tricky for myself, I later learnt that. I said, do you see horns on my head? And unanimously the whole grade looked at each other and turned to me and said, yes, you definitely have horns on your head. Like I invited myself into a troubled situation. How do I now handle myself? I said, that is exactly what is called delusion. जो है नहीं पर दिखता है. That which is not there, but you seem to assume that it exists. And that which is, you assume that it is non-existing. That which causes this is called delusion. ठीक? Now, where does this apply in our day-to-day life? In our day-to-day life, it applies that we have seen, we have been continuously experiencing, that we assume that there is something which will give us joy. We run after it. We find it. Go through the experience of cherishing it and then realize, बस इतना ही था. And then I move to the next one. Maybe this did not, maybe that will have joy in it. Isn't that how we are functioning every single day of our life? When we were young, all that we wanted to do was play, goof off. We were told, school ja, padhai kar, go study. I thought maybe that is where joy is. So we went there. We didn't like it at all. There was homework. At least the way we grew up. मुर्गा बनाते थे, क्लास के बाहर नील डाउन कराते थे, स्टैंड अप ऑन द बेंचेस होता था. These are non-invasive. Invasive were quite a lot as well. कभी डंडे पड़ जाते थे, कभी मिसाइल अटैक होता था. There used to be the duster, right? And it was a wooden frame, and that would be hurled at a thap. Anybody hit by that growing up? I was always in the last bench, so I have received many such missiles. I didn't like it there in the school. Then the thing is, maybe college mein, like in school we had to carry that big bag, right, with all the books in it. Saw my elders going to college, एक किताब ले जाते थे, one book for their entire year, one book, and that too stuck in the back. मजे हैं यार इनके. I have to lug a whole bag of it, and these fellows go to the college and entire day they are out there, and best part, they don't wear uniform. They can wear whatever clothes. It must be fun. I went there, that was not fun either. It's a job. Constantly we have been pushing. Maybe thinking something else will have happiness, joy in it. India में joy नहीं है. चलो अमेरिका. अमेरिका चलो. Joy oh joy. You have lived here also for a long time, right? At a coffee table where having a discussion, there were a group of people that were bashing, India is bad with this, India is bad with that, India is. I said, that is fine. But having stayed here, those set of parameters are not here. That constraint is not here. But are you happy? No, because there are new constraints. In India, you could leave children with your whoever, even neighbors. Here you cannot leave your children. So you become the sophisticated drivers. You keep driving them up and down and you put them in all these activities. It's almost like you can create a living space in that car. एक shower लगा दो, एक heater लगा दो, you can start living in there because you're driving always. It has its own issues. इधर issues नहीं है. It has its own set of issues. I just took one sample of it. Those set of problems are not there, but this set of problems are new to it. We change places, we change jobs, we change relationships, we try changing everything except ourselves. We try changing everything except ourselves. Ourselves meaning these delusional patterns of expecting others to change their life so that I can be happy. Will I change or will you change for someone else's sake? Temporarily you can, but on a long term you don't want to. Why would others accommodate you then? I will drive my car as I feel like. Others on the road should accommodate me. If you slip on a sleet surface, it is understandable. But your driving skill itself is like a Texan. A Texan में जो बड़े-बड़े गाड़ियाँ लेके चलते हैं, they have their own way of driving it. We expect change from everyone else except from myself. And when given a guidance saying that that is where the change should be, that who is giving that information, that environment where it can be a possibility for that change from within, we start hating it because I don't like that change. I am complacent, I am fine, I am where I am. I don't want to change, everything else has to change. That becomes the extension of that delusion. Now that moha, if it has to be removed, there is a wrong, unhealthy attachment. That wrong, unhealthy attachment has to be severed mercilessly, like a gangrene. When you have developed a gangrene, what do the physicians do? Cut that portion off. My first trip to Kailash, there was this French guy who said, "Oh, I know cold. And he practically didn't wear the cap or something to cover his face. It was like a blizzard when we had gone there. So he walked all over without a cap, without anything. By the time we returned, his nose tip and ears, it had started developing gangrene. So somewhere mid-path he was unbearable pain. So his nose tip had to be cut and his ears had to be cut. Do you know there is something like that in our Itihasa story? Shurpanaka, whose nose and ears were also cut. When there is a gangrene that is developing, for the sake of the rest of the body, that has to be cut aside. These wrong, unhealthy patterns have to be evaluated, identified, and mercilessly peeled out. Nissanga. But where do I get the clarity of finding these unhealthy patterns so that I can recognize them good, so that I can develop enough strength to kick these patterns out? That environment where I find this strength to kick these unhealthy patterns out is called Satsanga. Now, where do you find it? Whatever environment that you find this strength and stability to kick the unhealthy patterns out can be qualified as Satsanga. Sat meaning the existential truth, that which takes us to that existential truth, that which establishes us in that strength, that is called Satsanga. So that where there is Satsanga, it gives us the strength to remove the unhealthy pattern, Nissanga. When that unhealthy pattern, attachment, wrong attachment is removed, then the moha, delusion, is ripped out or pulled away. When the delusion is removed, the mind is least agitated. In that unagitated mind alone, one can find joy to enjoy. Crux of life de diya yahan pe. Right? I have just covered this shloka only superficially. There are several layers to touch upon. There is one important which I want to share, which can be made as a daily practice, a healthy practice, that we will see next week. And then open it up for your questions next week. Om Shant Shant Shanti Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Hari Om.